When a person calls to inquire about your services, and usually they're going to ask you how much. That's the first question out of their mouth. Well, the way to respond to that question is with critical question number 1. So instead of telling them how much, just say, would it be all right if I ask you a few questions? Before you do anything, make sure you have permission to have a conversation with that person. Critical question number 1 is asking permission. Now, I've had some pretty belligerent people call me up and insist that the only thing they want to know about is how much. They just want to know my fee, and I won't give it to them. Sometimes it just turns out that they're psychology students from the local university. Sometimes they're new hypnotists trying to find out what the competition charges. But regardless, I won't tell them my fee until I have permission to begin a conversation. They have to be willing to tell me something about themselves. So I just tell them that before I can answer that question, I need to know a little more about them. And I tell them I don't just work with anyone. So how much just isn't relevant until I find out whether or not we're actually going to be a good fit for one another. Now, most people who call are in earnest. They have a problem, they're looking for a solution, and they're hoping that hypnosis is the answer. What they don't understand is it isn't. You might be. But to know for certain, you need to have a conversation to qualify whether or not they're the right client for you. The 3 questions that follow are your preliminary uncovering questions. So what's the problem? Why is it a problem? And how much of a problem is it? These 3 questions give you a way to very quickly assess whether or not you need to continue the conversation with that person. Until you've answered these 3 questions, how much just is simply the wrong question to be focusing on. Now, most people will feel relieved if you just take charge of the conversation because they don't really know what to ask. They don't know you, and they really don't know much about what you do, so they just don't feel comfortable yet. They need to feel comfortable with you before they're going to feel comfortable giving you their money. So before you start discussing your fee, help them to get comfortable by getting them talking about themselves and the problem. If you want to learn more about the healing process of regression to cause hypnosis, just click the link in the description area. There are lots of free and low-cost programs waiting for you, and they are specific to the work we do as regression to cause hypnosis practitioners. So click the link in the description area, and I'll see you again real soon.